And we're back with our 2024 lead. There are only 46 days until Election Day, and the Harris-Walz campaign is struggling to appeal to a group of voters that could determine the outcome of the election, and that is men. That's not a group that seems to be a problem for former President Donald Trump. He plays golf with Bryson DeChambeau. He shows up on Theo Von's podcast. He meets up with boxer Jake Paul. If you don't know any of those people, talk to your 25-year-old gamer son. He knows them. I want to bring in CNN's Audie Cornish, host of the Assignment podcast, and Peter Hamby, host of Snapchat's Good Luck America. And Peter, you argue that Trump has more of an appeal among young men, whereas the Democrats haven't had a cool guy candidate in a while. You say some of it's because of Trump's more macho brand, but other parts of it is because of the economy?
I think so. Jake, thanks for having me, by the way. First of all, it's true in the polls, and some of this has been noise over this last year, and we haven't been able to really clarify whether this is happening. I think it's absolutely the case, and probably unrecoverable for Democrats, that men under 30 are drifting toward Donald Trump. In the ABC Washington Post poll from last weekend, sorry, just ABC, forgive me, Kamala Harris is winning young women by like 38 points. She was only winning young men by 3 points, and that shows up in other polls. If you go back to Biden 2020, Hillary Clinton, Obama's 2 elections, they were winning young men by 20 points, double digits. So that lead has gone away. I do think there is a cultural appeal. It's pretty apparent if you talk to young men, white, Hispanic, and black, that Trump just connects on some level. It could be changing notions of masculinity. It could be the fact that they're growing up in a media environment where they listen to Theo Von and Joe Rogan, and it's a non-traditional environment. But the number one issue for men in any poll, like most people, is the economy. Kamala Harris's campaign is talking about the economy, yes, but a lot of it is geared toward abortion and abortion rights, which is the number one issue for young women. And look, the labor force is changing. It's more female. College campuses are changing. Male enrollment is falling while female enrollment is going up. And so it's a mix of factors. But I absolutely, Jake, think that the spread could be crucial. Democrats need to win 60% of the youth vote to win the election. That's what happened with Biden. Didn't happen with Hillary Clinton. She only hit like 58, 55, I think. So right now, Kamala Harris, among voters under 30, she's polling at around 55%. Maybe she can make up for it elsewhere. But it is a very interesting margin.
Yeah. And Audie, the Harris campaign strategy is to go after the gettable men, those who are persuadable. Who are they?
Well, what we know is that women over time are more likely to identify as liberal. And the difference between them and men is that it's people with and without college degrees. Whereas for men, that's not so much the case. So I think that's why you see both campaigns specifically looking at men without college degrees. Just to underscore something that Peter just said, it's also about animating your base and who are the people who are actually going to leave their house and pull the lever for you. There is a world of young men who are more apathetic. So it's not necessarily that they are so in love with Trump, it's that they are disaffected, and that's what makes them quote unquote up for grabs, which is why you see these like very desperate things going on. We're visiting a Bitcoin bar. We're going to be, Tim Waltz, like doing a video while he's changing his car filter. It's quite literal, but it's the idea that somehow you have to reach through these people's algorithms.
And Peter, so how does the Harris campaign go after young male voters, and not just white men, but black and Latino men with whom Trump is making gains? We ran a little excerpt of a White Dudes for Harris digital ad the other day that I have to say, I don't think that's going to be enough.
I agree with you on that, Jake. A great ad will show and not tell why you should vote for a candidate. That White Dudes for Harris ad, which the viewers may or may not have seen, it just says that Harris and Walz are better than Trump for men. It doesn't tell you why. It doesn't show you images as to why. Audie makes a great point. A lot of this is a branding problem. John Della Volpe, who runs the Harvard Youth Poll, I believe he's been on your show. We all know him, like the gold standard of youth polling. He has found that among young men, among Gen Z men, their values around the role of government, around healthcare, around climate change are actually still more aligned with Democrats. It's just a branding and messaging problem. So my question is, and I wrote this for Puck this week, is who are the Democrats who can go into a Theo Von space, go on Joe Rogan? These are not Republicans. They might like Trump notionally, but just go in there and validate Kamala Harris's economic message, validate her in some ways. It used to be that Barack Obama could do that by going on SportsCenter. The media environment is so fractured now that it's more difficult to reach those audiences. And then who does it? Maybe Tim Walz. He's obviously done the football coach shtick. But it's hard to think of someone other than Bernie Sanders and Barack Obama. Look, I don't want to oversimplify, just a dude type who can go talk to these other dudes. Another Kamala Harris, though, Hispanic voters under 40, Jake, have really moved to her since he won the race. They're much swingier than white young men.
So where is Coach Walz? Where was the idea of him going to a high school football game on Fridays and college on Saturdays and NFL game on Sundays? He was supposed to be the guy that fishes and hunts. He's AWOL as far as I can tell.
I don't think it's AWOL. I mean, I don't have these kinds of requirements of like men are from Mars, women are from Venus, where's your fishing pole? I think a lot of this is the economy. How are you going to talk about the economy? Are you going to talk about it in a way that young men who feel like aspects of it are leaving them behind feel like you're hearing them? And for young women, are you going to be able to talk still about the things that they feel are going to affect them in the economy? And hopefully that's where the language of both these campaigns will go.
All right, Audie Cornish and Peter Hamby, two of my favorites. Thanks to both of you. Audie has, of course, a podcast. We call it The Assignment with Audie Cornish. Download it anywhere you get your podcast and look for Peter's stuff. It's great everywhere. Google it.